Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome to Unity of Kern County on this 11th day of December 2022. I'm Reverend Chuck, and today we're going to look at another statement that was made by Jesus that I really believe we need to take a stronger look at it and put more practice into it more than ever in our time. Anyways, the materials that I share with you each Sunday are based upon the spiritual principles and lessons as taught by Jesus, as well as Unity Worldwide Ministries in my 29 years as an ordained Unity minister. And as we do each Sunday, we open with honoring that presence of God as we best understand that presence in our life and in our affairs by praying the Charles Fillmore prayer, in the presence. I'm now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life and love and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and power, O blessed Spirit, in your divine wisdom. Now erase my mortal limitations, and from your pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world according to your perfect law. And so it is. Well, the writer of Mark tells us of Jesus having a meal at a Pharisee's home. And of course, as they often did, they talked about many things. And during that conversation, one of the men present asked Jesus, "What is the greatest commandment?" And he answered, "The first is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. And the second is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There are no other commandments greater than these." Well, we know that throughout Jesus' history, he expressed and taught the virtue of love and how important it is to the well-being of the individual as well as the world in which they lived. You see, Jesus understood that love was the only thing that could build relationships that would save humanity from destroying itself. Now, we have seen since the beginning of recorded time that humankind has chosen to express hate. And when we do that, we destroy a part of ourselves. And in that process, the only way back is becoming whole again is through the practice of love. You know, this is the time where we're getting ready to celebrate Christmas. In fact, in another 3 weeks, it will be Christmas. And it celebrates in the Christian model the birth of Jesus, who has been called the Prince of Peace. However, I have come to realize that you can't have peace without love. Therefore, I believe it should be changed to the Prince of Love, because without it, there is no peace. And that is why it is the greatest of all commandments. Here are some insights I was able to gather from a website created by Jared Akers called Happiness Website, and what this aspect of spiritual love can do for any one of us. Number one, you'll be able to develop more meaningful relationships out of a true respect that you have and that love that is practiced instead of, what can all this do for me? And that leads to the second point, where the resentments we might be holding will eventually fade. They will disappear because they have been diminished in a expectancy of what others can do for us. We in turn do for them. That is what love does. 3, we will end up discovering for ourselves that we don't need a lot of material or emotional needs to be met when love is always present, because love does the healing. And no matter where we find ourselves, our world will seem more peaceful because there is love, no matter what's going on around us. Stop and think what Jesus' world was like. And it didn't bother him, didn't bother his disciples, because love was the main focus. Number 4, you'll realize that anyone at any given moment is actually doing their best. You'll see that. 5, you will have a genuine feeling of happiness for others and their good fortune, as opposed to envy. 6, people in your life will know how much they mean to you because you are expressing that from the deep core of your heart. 7, you'll notice things in people and in nature that you never realized before. You see, when we practice love, it's as if we are activating another one of Jesus' statements. If you have eyes, you will see. If you have ears, you will hear. And that is what love will do for you. 8, gratitude will start to fill your heart more than fear and, of course, loneliness. And we know what those two things can do to an individual. As you continue to practice love, you'll develop more of an altruistic view, and you'll find happiness and peace it's a reward in itself. 10, you will attract abundance of every good kind in your life. Abundance that you never dreamed possible or didn't see coming. It would automatically be there for you. 11, because of all this, you'll sleep better because you'll begin to realize that life in its reality isn't so hard after all. It's just uncomfortable at times. And 12, love will become your favorite word and action in all that you do and say. Some time ago, there was a study that was done on people that stayed together for years and years and years. So they asked these couples, what were your secrets? Well, lo and behold, they responded that there really weren't any secrets. However, there was a method, and the method was loving, paying attention, and working through all the ups and downs to make it happen. So, 3 major activities came out of this study. Number 1 was surrendering. You see, no matter what the obstacles you may face, you can't do it alone. Even Jesus had his 12 disciples to help him teach his new spiritual program. So when problems arise, all we need to do is ask, seek, and knock on the door of that Christ in us, our hope of glory. And we will be given whatever we need to move forward. The second part that they found was that people were able to coexist even with the unresolved issues. A couple examples was most of the irritations that we have in life are simply that, they're irritations. And say you get a letter from the bank and it's about a bounced check. And you know it's an error. However, it's Friday evening, and your bank won't be open until the following Monday. What do? You fret, you get angry, you become depressed, you imagine the worst. That's not helping. You have to learn with love, you can coexist with that and go, okay, I'm calm, I am peaceful, and I will wait until Monday and get this straightened out. The other is every now and then we or our loved ones might get a report about a health challenge that we're having, and we're waiting for those results. And that can be agonizing, to say the least, for anyone. Well, through love, we can learn to move through these unresolved situations by coexisting with love, faith, and courage. The third part is developing new patterns of behavior. To do this, of course, requires we put love into practice. We can help ourselves by remembering that, number one, we're always in the process of working on something. So be gentle with ourselves in that process. Two, that we're never really in denial when we have seen and recognized a problem and behave normally in spite of it. Other people go, "What are you doing?" Yet we know that it's a process and we're moving through it. You see, there's a difference. There's a difference in our lives of being able to have a problem in our life and deal with it, or make a problem of our life. Choice is always ours. And three, fencing off the migrating negativity that seems to seep in from all areas. Um, Friends, in other words, wanting to help, but yet getting involved and giving you negative information. When you build healthy fences around your environment, one, two, or even 3 dozen things going wrong in your life at any given time will never negate the hundreds of things that have always gone right. And this is where love can have its process moving in and through you to resolve these things and to remind you that you are loved and it's a process. And four, fulfilling relationships do not happen by design, or I'm sorry, do happen by design, not by default. So, in other words, it takes work, and we know it does. So we have to remember love as it was taught by Jesus, okay, was the one and only commandment that we must follow. Love God and love each other. After all, love is, as Charles Fillmore quoted, the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. It is the great harmonizing principle known to humankind. So until next week, I leave you with this affirmation: the love of God expressed through me acts as a magnet, drawing blessings of every good kind into my life. Well, friends, I want to thank you for following me on Facebook and YouTube at Unity of Kern County. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to contact me via Messenger on Facebook or to my email, revchuckunity@yahoo.com. And of course, for the financial donations that keep these messages coming to you on a weekly basis. And so, till we meet again, may God bless you and be good, not only to yourself, but to others. God bless.